one of them. Good Christian fellowship. Our first honoree was Jack Standard, and I just wanted to give you an update on Jack. Son and I met him on Amelia Island not too long ago, about maybe 5 days ago or so, and he came up from Ponte Vedra, that's where he lives now, and he's doing really well. He's just so happy to see us, though, because he brought back so many memories of being with you folks. And we were able to bring him a picture that...
well, the picture of the church that...
that's no scene in the church.
Yeah.
Lori,
The
painting.
Yeah,
And
painting.
much appreciated, and he's doing well. Tonight's introductions can be a little stranger than most because I don't know as much as I should about our honoree tonight. Somebody said he was in the witness protection program. Because every time, well, I can tell you what I know. I know there's a big voice in the choir. And I look over there and that's
Yay.
Good
choir member.
And then at the peace, when we offer each other the peace of Christ, if you ever noticed your knuckles, they kind of cross when he gets through with it. But
oh, I only hug him.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what I do.
So not knowing him very well, I started asking people, what do you know about him? They said, well, somebody said he could drive a semi. And somebody else said, well, he lives in Bear Walla with the Bears or something, someplace up in Girton. And I said, I know where that is. That's pretty country up there. And so little by little we begin to piece things together, but he's got to tell you the rest of it because you folks didn't give me much to go on. So for the rest of the story, come little man, partner.
All right. I want to start off by, I guess, apologizing for not letting people know about me. Everywhere I've been, and as I've moved around, it's always been for a short period of time, especially with the military. 3 years and you're on your way again. So you really don't get a chance to meet people and really make solid friends out of them. So I don't open up a lot. My wife will tell you that I'm probably an introvert when it comes down to it, and that probably drives her crazy because she's an extrovert and she wants me to go everywhere with her, but when I get there, it's like, if I don't know you, I won't say anything until like the second or third time we get together, and then we'll start opening up a little bit. Well, now this is the first time, and I'm going to have to open up right away.
We're not strangers.
I've got some pictures here. I'm just going to pass them around, okay? This is the beginning. This is the beginning of who I am and where I got going. I am one of 6 children. We were raised up in northern Indiana.
Which one?
The left side is me, the right side is my twin sister.
You had
You had a
a
twin?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, you're gonna get
Wow.
to that. You're gonna get to
I'm
that?
going to get to that.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story. I have like 3 nights to actually.
Okay, we'll come.
Geez, here we go. That's later in life. That's somewhere around junior high
Is that your
somewhere.
sister?
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I know. That, I was not a ladies' man.
Yes, it is.
This is just a little bit later than that. Probably my junior or sophomore year in high school. So we kept going around.
Yes.
I was married the first time in 75. So this is my ex-wife and my 3 kids from her. And there'll be other pictures. If you want to come look at some of these, you can. I'm going to go back in time. I was 1 out of 6. But you know there's always one child that gets in trouble more than anybody else.
Yay, yeah.
My dad had a board of correction. Everybody know what that is?
Yeah.
All right. Board of Correction had my name written on it 13 times. Everybody else had once,
Oh, man.
and that was for their birthday. Everything that ever went wrong, there was 5 fingers pointing at me. I didn't do it, but there was 5 fingers pointing at me, and I always caught all sorts of heck. My dad was not crazy about me. He really treated me bad, in my opinion. He was a very forceful man, but he was shorter than I was. I don't know why he intimidated me so much, but he did. And as we went through life, I've got 2 older brothers, an older sister, of course my twin sister, and then a younger brother. So the younger brother's a baby, he can't get in trouble. The older brother, he's the head of the family next to Dad. Next brother was like the sports guy, so Dad pushed him into everything, football, baseball, the whole 10 yards. My sister, the oldest one, so she was like right below Mom, so she kind of helped herd everybody around. And then there was me and my twin sister. My twin sister and I, they would not let us go to the same classes when we were going through school. They always kept us separated. I don't know why, but she always got into this smart class. You know, they're doing algebra in the 6th grade or something. And I'm over here in this class finger painting to music. I don't know. I don't know what happened. All the kids would go out to recess, and I would go over and sit outside her classroom door to see if I could learn something. So she was always the smart one. I was always the one that would never accomplish anything. She was on the honor society. I kind of played sports a little bit. My dad would not let me play sports. It wasn't until he and my mom separated that I actually got in and started playing basketball, cross country, things of that sort. I did bring a yearbook my senior year. I've got them flagged of where there's pictures of me. So this, I don't even know which grade this is, Miss Yoder, probably like 1st grade. You'll see me down here in the bottom row in the center. Again, I was not a ladies' man back in those days.
Oh. Later.
Back in those days. Again, a whole nother story comes up. My dad treated me really bad most of my life. My mother, I loved her to death. I thought she was a saint. She always tried to protect me. She always tried to look after me. My great-grandfather was a twin, also born on the same day, October 31st, Halloween.
Oh, really?
Twins. I'm 4 minutes older than she is, so trick and treat. I guess I was the trick, she was the treat. And that's the way it went all of my life. When we graduated high school, she was in the honor society, so she had all these different garbs and everything, and I just kind of sat there, but I was the first one across the stage.
Okay.
That was about it. Now, after high school,
What's important is you graduate.
she did a lot of different things. She started working for a podiatrist, was going to get to be an assistant podiatrist and that sort of thing. She was on a career path to do something big. I didn't do anything. I went and worked in the factory, started working building A-frame homes out in Wisconsin, northern Illinois. They were prefabs, enjoyed it. Then this was back in '73. So I was making like $750 a week in '73.
Wow, we were making
Big bucks.
75.
They were paying mileage. They were paying for my motel. They were reimbursing me for food. And still, I got a check for $750. I thought I was on top of the world. I would come back and I would give my mom, you know, especially during tax time, we'd knock out 2 houses. So I'm making $1,500. So I'd come back and I'd give her whatever she needed to pay the taxes on my farm and all that. And then I'd go back out on the road after I had my weekend of running around. I'm 19, 20 years old, so I'm out running around, drinking, smoking cigars. I mean, I was independent. I could do whatever I wanted. I ended up losing that job because the owner that I was working for, he had switched over to a different deal, hired some of his buddies from Vietnam. They messed up stuff. They pointed at me. I got canned. So the next thing I know, my car breaks down. I had a 73 Camaro. Car broke down. Girlfriend left me. Lost my job. I said, it's time. So I joined the Army. I joined the Army, delayed entry. It was in December of '73.
How old?
Active duty, I was 21 at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I joined the Army on delayed entry, went in. I was like king of the hill. I knew how to use a broom. You had guys in at that point, this is at the tail end of Vietnam, you had guys in there that were in there because it was either go to jail or join the Army. That was their options. They would come in, they didn't know what a broom was, they didn't know what a rake was, they didn't know how to use these things. And being a farm boy, I was tough. I could show everybody everything. One side story, I don't know, you all know I smoke cigarettes. I still smoke after 40 some odd years. I smoked a cigarette, and when I got done, I threw it on the ground. Anybody been in the service? You don't do that stuff. So the drill sergeant pulled me to the side, told me to pick up that cigarette, and I want you to go around back of the building. He gave me a spoon and said, I want you to give him a military burial, 6 by 6 by 6. That's going to take a while with a spoon.
6 to 6.
So I'm being innovative. So I go back around back and I dig a hole 6 inches by 6 inches.
That's what I was thinking.
He didn't appreciate my humor in there, but he let me go because I followed instructions, 6 by 6 by 6.
Good for him.
So from then on, when I left out of the basic training, I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for my training. I was an artillery surveyor. I would tell the guns where they're at. I would tell them where the target is. Here's the direction you need to fire and how far away they were. I thought surveying would be a good tool for when I finally ended my career and I got out, I could be a surveyor. Make decent money. So I continued on my little career. I re-enlisted. I got married in '75, and it was one of those, I guess you'd call it shotgun marriage. I called my mom and said, Mom, I got a problem. She says, yes, you do. You married a girl and don't come back to the state of Michigan. I love my mother, so I married the girl. And I stayed with her for 23 years. We had 3 kids, and I enjoy and love every one of them. At any rate, I then went, joined the Army, and I came back to Fort Knox, Kentucky, which is just straight south of Michigan, where we were living. And I stayed there for 6 years. I went to Korea, came back to Fort Knox, went to Germany. The first time was in a place called Schweinfurt, still an artillery surveyor. I left Schweinfurt, came back to Fort Hood, Texas, still a surveyor, but they put me in the office as a training NCO. So I was basically a high-paid clerk. Enjoyed it immensely because it was all office work, organization, training, making sure people were where they at and all that. I was almost like their bosses. They had to clear stuff through me. And so I started eating that up. I went from Fort Hood, Texas, back to Germany. I was there and I got promoted, and when I got promoted, they promoted me into a different, what they call MOS, your service that you were doing. So I went from surveying into military intelligence. And so I started doing military intelligence, and I got put into a battalion S2. That was their intelligence field. There was S1 was administration, S2 is intel, S3 was training, all that sort of stuff, and then S4 was supply. So I was in S2, and it was me and a lieutenant. Of course, lieutenants had more than one job, so I basically ran this intel office. We had these things start, Bosnia started kicking off. So I put in the paperwork, go to Bosnia. They declined it. They said I was more good to them working in that office, keeping them posted on what was going on. There was only 3 people in the battalion that had top secret background investigation security clearances, and I was one of them.
Wow.
So I had all this info coming in, and then I would brief the colonel and everybody as to what was going on. So I left there, out of my little MI, went back to Germany again, worked in the MI field, and did the same thing, and then he had Grenada, came up, Grenada, and I volunteered to go, and let me go. More important, you stay here and let us know what's going on. So I had a big map on the side of the wall, and I could keep track, and I pinned where things were happening. I kept a scoreboard on the wall for airplanes that were shot down. How many of theirs were shot down,